Hi, I'm Anna Burke and I'm a general business major.
Hi, I am Tia and I am a hospitality and tourism management major.
I'm Jacqueline, I'm a business systems and analytics major.
I'm Taylor and I'm also a business systems and analytics major.
My name's Addie and I'm an accounting marketing double major.
And I'm Elijah and I'm a creative and entertainment industries major.
And we're all students from Belmont University here to participate in the Nashville STR competition.
So on the agenda today, we will be following the STR student competition guidelines, and we'll be going through the following items: the general makeup of the market, the current statistics, the trended data, the market breakdowns, comparable markets, type of business, and pipeline and development. So Nashville is a tourism hotspot with a growing number of attractions as well as longtime staples that have driven tourism for years, such as the music and honky-tonk scene on Broadway.
So first we'll be talking about the general makeup of the market. So in terms of Nashville's identifying characteristics, what draws people to Nashville? So a lot of that is going to be music. So Nashville is also called Music City, so there are tons of concerts, tons of celebrities coming in to sing, venues, CMA Fest. There are a ton of things that draw people in terms of music to Nashville, but also there's a lot of food choices. So Nashville is known for its hot chicken, a lot of diverse cuisine, as well as a lot of bachelorette parties. So Nashville has become one of the #1 places for soon bride-to-be to come for their bachelorette parties. So that's a great location. Nashville is a great location for all of those things. So this first chart, we wanted to look at suburban and urban areas within Nashville. We wanted to rule out rural areas because Nashville does not have a lot of rural areas, so that data would be a little bit irrelevant. So here we're looking at census room count and census prop count. So as you can see, in the suburban areas of Nashville, we have a higher census room count and a higher census prop count because those are interrelated. Next, we have Nashville's top hotels by number of rooms. So you can see that the Gaylord Opryland Resort and Convention Center has a significantly higher total number of rooms than their competitors, offering over 3 times as many rooms as the second largest Nashville hotel, the Omni. But as you can see, out of all the hotels here, these are still fairly large hotels. I know that the Gaylord Opryland Resort surpasses them by a lot, but those in second, third, and fourth place in terms of hotel count still are huge hotels relative to other cities. So like I mentioned, Gaylord Opryland Resort has a ton of rooms to offer, but also the Graduate Nashville Hotel. These are 2 unique hotels in Nashville. The Gaylord Opryland is the largest non-gaming exhibition space in the world, and the Graduate incorporates local Nashville stars like Dolly Parton and Minnie Pearl into their interior design throughout the hotel. One of their largest tourism draws is the White Limousine, which is a bar and restaurant that overlooks the Nashville skyline in the Graduate Hotel. So like I mentioned before, Nashville draws a lot of people because of its music. So the CMA Fest and the Ryman Auditorium are big music hotspots. The CMA Fest draws people from all over the country to come to the Country Music Festival. The Ryman Auditorium is also a big place for concerts and events, as well as New Year's Eve draws a lot of people to the area.
So now we're going to move on to current statistics in the Nashville market. So the first graph that we have is the ADR occupancy and RevPAR percent change over time. And the ADR and RevPAR percent occupancy and RevPAR are consistent from 2017 to 2019. And so during this time, Nashville was still maintaining growth and popularity among the bachelorette parties and the live music scene. We have Grand Ole Opry, Ryman Auditorium, and Bridgestone Arena, which were bringing in a steady amount of concerts throughout the whole time during 2017 to 2019. And obviously the sudden drop in 2020 due to COVID caused a lot of hardship on the market. However, the Nashville hotel market is recovering well and is on its way back to pre-pandemic numbers. There's a high percent change in ADR and occupancy and RevPAR from 2020 to 2021 because in 2020 those numbers were so extremely low that we saw that huge percent change in growth positively. The ADR and occupancy rate, like I said, are moving back to those pre-pandemic numbers, and RevPAR has had such a large positive percent change, most likely because of inflation. There's a lot in the economy that's starting to make it so that the hotel rooms are a little more expensive in Nashville and just in the nation in general. And total revenue from 2017 to 2021 kind of reaffirms what I am saying. These are averages for each quarter for all the years from 2017 to 2021. The smaller amount of revenue generated in quarter one and quarter two in the industry in Nashville speaks to the seasonality of hotels. These quarters would be considered Nashville's slow season due to the colder weather and people not traveling as much after the holiday season. However, Nashville is making an effort to keep that revenue generated during those periods through events like the New Year's Eve Bash, where the music note drops and lots of country music stars come in, and with the popularity of the NHL team, the Predators. And that keeps bringing people in during those quarters. There's an ever-growing popularity though during those times, and we can see that events like this helps keeps heads in beds during the slower quarters. And revenue correlates the same as the occupancy, ADR, and RevPAR. Like I said before, inflation has caused some of that revenue to increase. And this graph with the 12-month moving average by quarter enhances the point that Nashville has consistently been heading towards growth despite what happened in 2020 with COVID. But I would like to point out that we did get to see room renovations and constructions during this time because hotels didn't have the opportunity beforehand to do stuff like this. So after the pandemic, the value of the hotel rooms has increased and people are now able to have nicer rooms and enjoy a better stay due to these renovations. It can be seen that RevPAR increased to 308.9 in quarter one of 2022, which almost exceeds the amount in 2019 quarter four. And this could be attributed to the growth of luxury and upscale hotels in Nashville, as well as just people wanting to travel more, especially after a pandemic. And Nashville is a solid competitor amongst cities like Austin, Denver, and Seattle. These four cities have similar populations, growth rates, and property counts, making them the most comparable markets. With similar property counts, all these cities have similar occupancy rates ranging from 64% to 65.02%. And Nashville has had the second largest ADR and RevPAR behind Seattle, which can be due to differences in economies and the types of hotels within each area.
All right, so now we're going to go into a little bit of the trended data in the Nashville market. So starting off, we just have the supply and demand percent change, and you can see there's a pretty steady increase from 2017 to 2019, just with increasing popularity in Nashville, as we've touched on a little bit before. And then, as you would expect in 2020, a sharp decline in demand due to the lockdown restrictions and COVID guidelines, halting both leisure and business travel. And there is a slight decrease on that blue line in 2020 due to some of the hotels going out of business or even shutting down. But that downtick is, however, recovered in 2021 due to resumed construction and pipeline development, which we will discuss later. And in this graph, we can see a similar historical trend as in the previous graph with the drop in both the ADR and the occupancy in 2020, once again, due to the pandemic. And something interesting to note on this graph is while the occupancy rate is drastically declining, it is not as drastic as the demand percent change from 2019 to 2020 that we saw in the previous graph. This could be due to hotels being utilized in a different way as quarantine rooms and spaces, and not necessarily being used as travel rooms for their intended purpose. And this is very common occurrence for organizations or even just individuals to utilize these spaces for COVID quarantining. And lastly, we have the RevPAR. This graph depicts the average revenue per available room. From 2017 to 2019, we see around an $8 average increase due to increasing popularity, as we have touched on, and seen in previous graphs. Again, we see that sharp decline in 2020 and 2021 due to COVID restrictions, which actually halved the RevPAR from previous years.
Alrighty, so now we're going to be going into market breakdowns and just answering the question of what makes up that Nashville market. We'll be looking at the class as well as the segment for the Nashville market in order to determine the hotel industry in Nashville and its specifics. So starting off, we'll be looking at economy class, luxury class, mid-scale class, upper mid-scale class, upper upscale class, as well as upscale class. Looking at this chart right here, we're seeing the scale for census and sample property and room counts. So it has all the different service classifications of the classes divided out with the census and sample amounts. We're seeing that for the census property count, the division with the highest number of properties is the economy class. However, the census with the highest number of rooms are both the upper mid-scale class and the upper upscale class. These will be important areas to note as we'll be going more into how these numbers correlate with other data factors. Now going straight into the average running 12-month occupancy by class from 2017 to 2021, we can see that those three upper mid-scale, upper upscale, and upscale classes have consistently the highest occupancy rates in comparison to their counterparts. This leads us to believe that with these higher occupancy rates, these facilities are more so in demand. When you look at the downtown market for Nashville, as we'll get more into a little bit later with the downtown Nashville hotels, a lot of those do fall into that upper mid-scale and upper upscale range, so it makes sense that the occupancy rates of these facilities would be higher and therefore are most demanded by consumers. Now once we look at the average running 12-month RevPAR by class from 2017 to 2021, we're seeing that the luxury class has the highest RevPAR, that being those luxury rooms are going to be more expensive, but therefore generate hopefully a little more revenue. And then those upper upscale classes and upscale classes are coming in a close second with their RevPAR as seen on this slide. Now we'll go straight into the market breakdown by sub-market. So the different sub-markets that consist and make up the Nashville hotel industry are Brentwood and Franklin, Murfreesboro, the airport, the CBD, which is also known as the downtown Nashville market, North Nashville, and other areas. Looking at this chart right here, we're seeing the Nashville census and sample room and property count by sub-market. So we have boxed in red that Nashville CBD or the downtown Nashville market, showing that the census room count is the highest for this Nashville CBD market. They also have the most properties here. Coming in a close second, we have the Nashville airport with about 200,000 less census rooms, but around roughly 500 less census properties. So this just shows that Nashville and CBD are definitely our top two based on size of both rooms and properties, but we will get more into the data of why would a consumer choose the Nashville CBD market. It's very likely that the downtown Nashville market is the most popular among consumers, as the downtown Nashville environment has so many fun things to offer. Looking at this picture on the left, we see 12th South being a great area where tourists will come and travel. There's a lot of boutique shopping experiences, a lot of places to go get good food, and just experience Nashville at its finest. So with the downtown hotels being a short Uber ride away from 12th South, this definitely will drive consumers to stay in those downtown Nashville hotels for convenience and proximity to all those events. We're also seeing Broadway, which is the downtown area of Nashville, offering different bars as well as live music. So this is a great opportunity for those people to just walk straight from their hotel with that downtown CBD market. Also at the top, you see the picture of Bridgestone Arena, home to many big concerts in Nashville and where a lot of huge artists will come. And also the Preds, that's a big team that plays out of the Bridgestone Arena. So we're seeing that a lot of individuals might come stay for a weekend in Nashville at a hotel while they go attend a concert. The Gulch on the right is also a nearby location to downtown hotels, as it can also be a short walk or Uber drive away. The Gulch has a lot of fun activities to offer. It's a highly concentrated area of tourists with, again, all of the shopping, eating opportunities. And we also see that in the Gulch, there's a lot of those larger hotels. For example, the Westin in downtown Nashville, and the Gulch is one of those newer hotels that is opened and offers a very more high-end experience to their consumers. So now when we look more at those Nashville submarkets and their running 12-month demand by year, we're seeing again that Nashville CBD is at the top of all of those lines in terms of where it lines up in demand. So it's evident that this is the most demanded. At the bottom of the pack, we're seeing that the Nashville I-65 North is not as demanded as those other Nashville submarkets, but coming in a close second to that Nashville CBD market is the Nashville Airport. A lot of this could be because consumers may be stuck from a delayed flight and just need to find a quick place to stay, so they find a hotel by the airport, or perhaps they just want that convenience, hopping right off a plane and heading straight to check into their hotel. So that could also be another reason why there's a high demand for that Nashville Airport market. But one key thing that I do want to point out on this graph, as you can see with that top yellow line, is that we see a large uptick in demand in 2019. And let's dive more into that. Looking at the demand by quarter for 2019 for the Nashville CBD market, we see that demand was skyrocketing in comparison to the other markets, as well as what that market had previously seen. We know that in 2019, the NFL draft occurred in April. The draft had over 600,000 individuals in attendance, and this could have definitely increased hotel demand throughout the Nashville area. The press generated from the event also inevitably had an impact to increase the demand for the city, as this was a widely publicized event, and consumers would get that idea in their head to, oh, we should go visit Nashville now. The Nashville Business Journal also says that this was a key development opportunity for Nashville in order to host this large-scale event in 2019. And we see that as 2019 was approaching, a lot of people were moving to Nashville, a lot more people were traveling to Nashville. So with all these factors combined, it's evident that 2019, with Nashville's normal events that make Nashville have such high demand for travel and hotel stays, the Nashville draft only contributed to that and strengthened that component. Now when we look at the sum of the running 12-month ADR and RevPAR since 2017 for each segment, this graph is just corresponding with all that I've previously mentioned, and the fact that the Nashville CBD market is the top performing sub-market within Nashville. Coming close second again, the Nashville Airport, we're seeing the running 12-month ADR of $13,729 for Nashville. Coming in a close second is the Nashville Airport at $8,898. So again, these are those two big submarkets for Nashville. When we look at the average occupancy rate by segment using the running 12-month totals, we again see that they're all falling above 60%, which is good that the hotels are at least not completely empty, which shows our point that Nashville is definitely a highly populated area for their hotels. But the Nashville CBD market, again, has the highest average occupancy rate, followed in a close second by the I-24 Murfreesboro, and then Brentwood Franklin.
So now we will be discussing comparable markets. So as you can see, the three markets that we've selected to compare with the Nashville market is Seattle, Washington, Denver, Colorado, and Austin, Texas. So these three cities were chosen based off of their similar population size, growth rate, and the number of properties within each market, respectively. One thing to note is that Nashville has the highest numbers of hotels currently under construction out of these four American cities. Here you can see the average monetary supply and demand within Denver, Seattle, Nashville, and Austin for the years 2017 to 2022. The performance of Nashville and the three selected comparable markets shows that Denver, Colorado has the highest average supply, while Austin, Texas has the lowest average supply. Although Denver has both the highest supply and demand of the four markets examined, this market also possesses the greatest difference between supply and what is demanded. And in conjunction with this, we see that the difference between supply and what is demanded is the lowest in Austin, Texas. So due to their extremely similar supply and demand values, the market in Nashville is most comparable to the market in Seattle, Washington. The two markets have average demand values that see a difference of only $10,000, and similarly, their supply values in Seattle and Nashville are within $20,000 of each other. So now we can see the average occupancy rate as well as ADR for the four cities. Seattle, Nashville, Austin, and Denver all have occupancy rates within 0.73% of each other. This reflects their similar market characteristics and shows us that hotels within each market are seeing almost identical ratios of occupied rooms to total number of rooms available. Although Seattle possesses the lowest occupancy rate out of all the markets examined, it has the highest ADR. This is due to the local economy and the geographic positioning, as it is on the northwestern coast of the US. So based on these metrics, Nashville is most comparable to the market in Austin, Texas, because the two cities' ADRs only see a difference of $3.59.
Alrighty, now we're gonna go straight into types of business. So what types of business are flowing into Nashville? Are weekends or weekdays more of a busy time for these hotels? Which month is the busiest in Nashville? I hope to answer all these questions as we go into types of business. Starting off, we're looking at those three key performance indicators that we've consistently been referencing throughout this presentation. We've got ADR straight on the left, in the middle we have occupancy, and then on the right we have RevPAR. So just going down the line, starting at the left, when we look at the 2017 through 2022 average weekday versus weekend ADR in Nashville, we're seeing that weekends have significantly a higher average daily rate, which just is a sign that weekends are a more popular time to travel to Nashville. Heading straight over to occupancy rate in the middle, we're also seeing, again, weekends, so much of a higher occupancy rate there, meaning that those hotels are way more likely to be filled on the weekends. And then ending in RevPAR, again, we have weekends skyrocketing above weekdays. This could definitely be due to people have the weekend off, they're taking a weekend trip to Nashville, less weekday travelers, as Nashville is definitely a hustling and bustling city with a lot of concerts and events that oftentimes do happen on those weekends. Now we'll go straight into the average revenue by weekday from 2017 to 2022 in Nashville. So starting at the left, we have Saturdays being our busiest days in Nashville. This again goes back to weekends being very popular when it comes to those key performance indicators. And the most revenue will be generated on a Saturday with over $5,424,000 being generated. Next, when we look at Friday, that average is close to that Saturday average, directly followed by Thursday. And we see that Sunday is our day with the least amount of average revenue, as Sunday is when a lot of people are packing up, ready to head home after a fun weekend in Nashville. This graph is showcasing the occupancy rate by quarter from 2017 to 2021. I think that this graph can tell us a lot about the Nashville market in particular. If we look at that top yellow line that we're seeing, that is Q2 in Nashville, which is the highest occupancy rate of all the quarters, meaning that those months in the year are definitely the months where hotels are the most filled. And then if we look at the lowest line, that dark blue line, that is Q1 in Nashville. So Q1 again, like previously mentioned, is January, right after that new year has hit. A lot of consumers have concluded their holiday travel or spending time with their family, and they're ready to go head back to their homes and get back into the swing of things for that new year starting. It's also colder months in Nashville, so not as many people might be going and visiting, but we definitely see that all of these are pretty steady from 2017 to 2019, but then in 2020, all of them had a large drop. 2020, again, COVID, the occupancy rate was a lot lower than it was previously, but we do see that in 2021 that growth has already started, and in 2022 we see that the Q1 and Q2 occupancy fall right at 59.49 for Q1, and for Q2 75.26. So with that 75.26, we're hovering right back up to those Q2 numbers, mirroring the trends that we saw in 2017 through 2019. So the Nashville market has really picked itself right back up and is ready to keep being a large player in the hotel industry. Now looking at the average percent change for those three key performance indicators from 2017 to 2021, we can see that again from 2017 to 2019 there wasn't much change there. It wasn't until 2020 when COVID occurred that we saw those key performance indicators just reverse themselves completely. 2021 and 2022 are just trying to make up the aftermath of what COVID was. Therefore, we're seeing large average percent changes. However, as the years go on, it will be interesting to see if we see those being steady again.